there's news. This just came out yesterday. I was actually during my when I had my family chat this morning. I talked with my family in the States this morning, and they actually let me know about this, that this happened. I was unaware of this. There's been a change with YouTube. There has been a new change with YouTube where they are easing monetization rules. This just came out yesterday. Basically, monetization policies highlight a change balance between free expression and advertiser comfort. Free creators discuss subjects often face demonetization, limiting both reach and income. Platform appear to make its space more mean conversations. In its latest update, YouTube has allowed monetization for videos covering sensitive topics such as abortion, fuck me, words are hard, abortion, self-harm, suicide, and domestic or sexual abuse. The condition is that the content must remain non-graphic. So it's a move aimed at supporting educational and awareness-driven discussions. It avoids disturbing visuals that can alienate viewers or brands while still enabling important conversations. Translation. No heckle, it does not, because Kitsu's thing with Google is something else entirely. Heard me. I can't go into details because it's not my place to say it yet, but I am aware that there's something all new with YouTube that's going on with Kitsu that has nothing to do with this. What has occurred with Kitsu in regards to her AdSense has nothing to do with it. It's something entirely different, and it's YouTube playing fuck around and changing its stories. I cannot say more than that because it's not my place to say it, and I don't know if she intends to make it public or when she's going to make it public. So I can't say any more than that, but this does not cover what is occurring with Kitsu. When the time comes, she will say it, but trust me, you're not going to hate YouTube enough when it finally does come out. Just be aware of that. Now, what this does change is for content like me, you guys know I don't mince words. I will talk about if there's issues of suicide, if there's issues of domestic or sexual abuse, if there's issue of self-harm. I didn't even know abortion was one of those buzzwords that they couldn't talk about. You guys know I've never had any problem talking about any of these things. Why? Because I'm not monetized. My YouTube channel's not monetized, so I don't care if YouTube says, well, you're going to get demonetized for this. Fuck you, I'm already demonetized. I don't care. However, for other news content creators like Hero Hey or Rev, who this subject matter does come up in their reportings, you know, they have to basically keyword it. They have to keyword, you know, pedophilia or child, you know, a child sexual assault as PDF or CSAM, because if they didn't, they would get demonetized. They have to code suicide as self-deletion, things like that. They've had to use code words so YouTube would not demonetize them. So I am legitimately curious if now that YouTube is allowing monetization for this, that they will stop coding their words when they do their reporting. Rev already to a degree has started to ease off of the language coding and be able to speak candid. Oh, geez, I have hiccups now. Yeah, Rev has been speaking a bit more candidly in his reporting regarding these subjects. So now that YouTube is supposedly doing this in their latest update, will he be able to speak more plainly in his reporting when subjects of self-harm, when subjects of suicide, when subjects of domestic or sexual abuse come up, or child abuse? Because presumably child abuse falls in the line of sexual abuse. Will he and Hero and other content creators that have had to basically censor themselves now be able to use proper verbiage and language when reporting on these situations? My guess is they are probably going to test the waters. They will probably, like with the report, if the issue does come up, they will maybe test the waters with it to see if this is true that YouTube will not demonetize them. And, they might do like one video where they will say it once or maybe twice. Yeah, not having to use the word sewer slide. They can actually say, this person unfortunately committed suicide. As long as it's not graphic, like where they go into like detail of how they did it, or they speak in very visceral terms. If they're just reporting on it and saying this person unfortunately committed suicide, this person is threatened to commit suicide or threatened to commit self-harm, then or having to see like game ended. Exactly. It might hopefully will allow them to stop having to use these coded words. Because I haven't used coded words in a long time. I stopped using coded language a while ago because A, I'm not monetized, so I don't fucking care. And B, these are serious topics where coding language like this actually diminishes the importance of what is occurring with these individuals that we're talking about. If someone commits suicide, that is a very serious and heartbreaking topic, and it should not be coded or minimized with coded language to appease YouTube's algorithm or appease YouTube's monetization when you are talking about a very serious situation and you want to give proper weight to that occurrence that happened with someone either having taken their own life by committing suicide, or if someone is a victim of child sexual assault by a pedophile. We don't want you don't want to minimize the language on that because it minimizes the impact, and you get people like hearing the coded language and going, oh yeah, that's terrible, okay, moving on, when actually saying like this person is the victim of a pedophile, then people could go sit up and go, oh shit, okay, this might be serious. This is something to pay attention to. So I'm hoping that this change with the monetization will allow for, I don't know, accurate reporting, but more honest reporting. It will allow a more honest verbiage in reporting of situations that involve this. That is my hope. We will see what happens. It is YouTube, so you can't trust them. You can't trust YouTube, so we will have to see and go from there. But hopefully this is a positive in terms of news reporting. But we shall see. We shall see. And to the ice end, chat, it's happening. It's happening. Tim Walz is mobilizing the Minnesota National Guard. He's actually mobilizing the Minnesota National Guard to deal with what is happening. Now, what the Guard is going to do, I don't know. I don't know, because, let me scroll down, because, granted, I just grabbed the first article about I could find. This is CNN, so you take this with a giant grain of salt, because they already 2 paragraphs in, they were talking about, after they fatally shot Renee Good in her car, well, ignoring the fact that Renee Good actually, tried to hit actually struck an ICE agent trying to flee from them while her wife was screaming at her, go, baby, go. And so, CNN, of course, deliberately left that little chestnut out of their quote-unquote reporting, because they're not really reporters, and, it decided to leave out the fact that she actually struck an ICE agent with her car. That ICE agent actually was hospitalized for several days, and I'm not sure if it was this particular ICE agent that actually suffered internal bleeding. But yeah, with the ICE agent that she struck with her car actually did get hospitalized for multiple days to receive care for being struck with a 3,000-pound vehicle. So CNN, of course, deliberately leaves that little chestnut out of the reporting, and then talks about, a federal agent shot and injured a Venezuelan man who DHS accuses of, quote, violently resisting arrest. Which, again, they're leaving out the very important context of, yes, they were facilitating the arrest of a Venezuelan illegal immigrant, had 2 people come running out of a house with weapons, a broom handle, and a shovel, start beating the agent and the Venezuelan man who they were taking into custody got free and joined in on the attack with the ICE agent, resulting in him getting shot in the leg. Again, leaving that little chestnut out of their non-reporting. So again, take this with a grain of salt. But Going down here. So, the National Guard is staged and ready to respond, said Major Andrea. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. Said in a statement saying then, we are not deployed to the city streets at this time. Troops will help provide traffic support to protect life, preserve property, and support the rights of all Minnesotans to assemble peacefully. The Minnesota Department of Public Safety posted photos of the state National Guard troops in beanies, gloves, and jackets, appearing to gather bags of equipment along with guard trucks lined up Snowy Road. At his direction, the Guard had been mobilized to support law enforcement and emergency management agencies. Now, what will happen with this, Marines blood? Keep it in your pocket. I'm getting it. Trust me, Gaber, I'm honest. Keep in mind, we don't know what the orders of the Minnesota National Guard will be. What my suspicion is that the Minnesota National Guard is going to be... my suspicion is that they may get deployed. Oh yeah, it said support local law enforcement who has been abandoning ship with every riot. Every riot that these protesters have initiated, the police have abandoned ship. Or the police, let me correct that. The police have been ordered to abandon ship. The actual patrolmen don't wish to just bail out. They want to actually regain control of the area. But they are ordered by their higher-ups to jump in their cars and fuck off. So it's the higher-ups that have yoinked the patrolmen out of there and forced them to abandon. And basically surrender the area to the fascist protesters. So, Mike, the question is, where will the National Guard be deployed? My suspicion is the National Guard is going to be deployed to, I know, Scavenger. That's where my concern is, with the Minnesota National Guard, that's a concern that I have, is if they get deployed to the streets to affect, to support law enforcement with these riots and bring them under control and aid law enforcement in facilitating arrests, how many of them are going to basically follow that it's legal to deny illegal orders thing that those 6 individuals from government posted on Twitter and may sort of look the other way, not actually do anything. That's my concern. Is that because this is the Minnesota National Guard, which technically can be put under the orders of the federal government, but in the interim, they are under orders of the governor. So what is the governor telling the Minnesota National Guard to do? And we don't know what their current orders are yet. Okay, keyword yet. It's not Desar, that's the point. But if they try to, quote unquote, interpret it as, if arresting the protesters because they are being violent, and they classify that in their heads as, well, I consider that a quote unquote illegal order, are they going to look the other way? Which sounds insane and is treasonous, but think at where we're at. You look at where we're at, it's not so insanely outside the realm of possibility that some of them might do that, which is terrifying. But are they going to actually going to be deployed to the streets to work alongside police to effect arrests? Or are they going to get deployed to federal buildings to function as a guard force, which will allow the federal law enforcement agents that have been functioning as a guard force to redeploy themselves onto the street to support their guys in the field, while the National Guard facilitates, security over the federal buildings where ICE is coming back and forth from. Which, that would be fine. If they want to deploy that. You don't think they're going to? We'll see. We don't know what their orders are yet. We will find out. However, if things go tits up with the National Guard, well, Trump has got 1,500 soldiers from the 11th Airborne Division in Alaska mobilizing. He just told 2 battalions from the 11th Airborne Division in Alaska, gear the fuck up. If the National Guard that gets deployed either can't handle it or refuses to handle it, you've got the 11th Airborne Division that's going to literally come down on top of them. So, yeah. And what I suspect is happening here is they basically put these guys on alert watch. They basically put them on alert standby, geared up, ready to go. And my guess is they're going to be watching to see what happens when the Minnesota National Guard gets deployed into Minneapolis, how they respond, if they're able to do the job, if they're able to actually properly support law enforcement, get these riots under control, because they are riots. Let's make no mistake. These are riots, and this is an insurrection. You have anti-ICE protesters that are literally roaming the fucking streets and beating the shit out of people because they think they might support ICE. There's video footage out there on Twitter right now of these anti-ICE protesters that have accosted and beaten the fuck out of someone because they thought he supported ICE. And then they realized they fucked up and they went, oh no, he's one of us. They have they're taking over churches. They're setting up literal blockades in the streets. Like, this is literally, the very Gestapo that these protesters seem to accuse ICE agents of is literally what they are doing to them, what they are doing.
Here come the Los Bagnos 2.0.
They're literally using Nazi Gestapo tactics. Shit, like that's what these protests are doing. They're doing Gestapo tactics where they're setting up roadblocks and barricades and doing a papers please scenario of anybody that wants to get by. Like, hey, this is gone insane, and the National Guard, like, they need to deploy the National Guard, and they need to start cleaning the streets. They need to start sweeping. Every single one of these people that are trying to do these checkpoints, send them home or send them to jail. If you want to protest, you do so, please, peacefully. They're setting up checkpoints and they're beating the ever-living fuck out of people that they think might be supportive of ICE. We can't get too much closer than this. The only difference is the Antifa people that are out there with guns actually start gunning down people that they think are pro-ICE. Because there are Antifa and anti-ICE people out there right now with long guns. There's snapshots of them out there with long guns. When they start actually shooting people, then yes, they will actually become Gestapo. But they're tiptoeing that line where they're actually inflicting harm against people because they think they might support ICE. And I'm sorry, that's about as fucking close as you can get without them actually start gunning people down. And God help us if that was ever happen. So what I think is going to happen here is I think that Trump and the Joint Chiefs are going to keep an eye on what happens with the National Guard, how they deploy, the operations they do. If their operations are successful in that they're able to assist police in basically clearing out these protesters. And if they're not, he's going to send in the 11th Airborne. He's going to send in active duty military to basically start kicking ass, I think. If the National Guard can't do it, then he will just send in Airborne, because Airborne will do it. So there it is. That's what we got going on. We were asking the question of why has the military not been deployed yet? No, the National Guard at least is getting deployed. And depending on what happens, we might see active military from Alaska get deployed.